The views and opinions expressed on Deeply Upsetting are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, associated brands, properties, or businesses. Listener discretion is advised. Please keep your hands inside the ride at all times.
Fuck, marry, kill. David Cronenberg, Lars von Trier, Rob Zombie.
Wow. Holy shit. You're bringing the gruesome on this Fuck, marry, kill.
Wah.
So we got Cronenberg, body horror maestro. Lars von Trier, just
Different type of body horror.
Type of body horror for sure.
Fuck.
And then Rob Zombie, just horror.
I just know you hate him, and I thought it'd be a fun little addendum.
I don't hate Rob Zombie.
No, you hate Rob Zombie movies.
His films are not my favorite. I am a fan of horror, very much so. And I have been so let down, for the most part, by Rob Zombie films. That it's like Rob, and now he's doing The Munsters.
I know. I think that's what I heard you ranting about the other day. I mean, you rant about Rob Zombie with some frequency, especially when there's any alcohol involved.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
And that tone that you said, Rob, is not your usual tone. That was much more like to a lovable scamp.
Yeah, I believe on one of the episodes of something recently, I was bitching about his Halloween remakes and how disappointed I was in House of Thousand Corpses and some of his other films. But
this is a crossover episode then.
Yeah, this is a crossover. This is crossover with, I think it was GUI that we were talking about. Yeah. So
haven't listened to that one yet, apparently, because I brought it up anyway.
Cronenberg's got a new film coming out that looks incredible, and it looks like a return back to his body horror beginnings a little bit. As much as I love History of Violence and Eastern Promises, they're more of like thriller dramas and very good, but not that body horror kind of thing. So I'm just going to take Cronenberg as that body horror version of Cronenberg.
That was what I had in mind.
Yeah, for sure. And then Lars von Trier. Okay, so the problem that I'm running into is that if kill feels like appropriate for Rob Zombie,
yeah,
but that means I would have to fuck or marry Lars von Trier.
Yeah.
And see, even with the body horror stuff, the fuck or marry for Cronenberg is still just like, okay, it's into some stuff that makes me feel like a little bit weird in bed, but
yeah,
you know, I appreciate where he's coming from with it. You know, it's like when you're asked to do a thing that you're really not into in bed, but you know your partner's really into it. He's like, can I please turn into like a multi-person throbbing muscle of a creature, and then you just fuck the holes? I'd be like, all right, Cronenberg, because you said so nicely, and I know it's something you want.
You're like, I should do it once before I die. You know, like I should fuck the throbbing muscle creature.
I should put my dick in this veiny, throbbing, like glistening mess of a person.
Your grandchildren will be so impressed with you. They'll think you're cool forever. Definitely.
Like, do you know that your grandfather once put his dick in some Cronenberg holes? And they're like, really? Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
Grandpa's cool.
That's the line that makes me go, Grandpa is fucking Cronenberg, I think.
Finally.
So, I mean, fucking Lars von Trier, that's a different level of like not being okay with the thing that your partner's into. Like he's into some stuff that's like not okay.
Not at all okay.
Like,
and he knows.
Like he can only come if he like picks up your dog and throws it against the wall as he climaxes. Like it's something truly upsetting on a different level. Like viscerally.
That's
upsetting.
Too real.
Yeah.
He's the guy that you like don't realize what he's like. He just seems kind of like forlorn, you know, on your first date. And then you take him home and you're having sex and he's like, cut off my pinky. You're like, what?
No, do it. He hands you like the cigar cutters.
He just hands you like a fucking butter knife or something to like saw through it.
You look over and there's just a table with just assorted pinkies. And you're like, okay, well, he has his. So what happens after I cut off his pinky? Like, then
you realize that you're at his house, which is not where I had it going. So that's so much worse. You do not want to be at Pinky Guy's house.
Like you're starting off really light for Lars von Trier, where you're just like slapping him in the ass with like a leather belt.
Yeah.
You know, like welting him pretty good. And you're like, okay, this is doable. This isn't too bad.
It's not really my thing, maybe, but
then you just hear a baby crying.
Oh.
And you're like a haunting, like echoey baby cry from somewhere in the house.
It's a dead baby for sure. Right? You know in your heart it's a dead baby.
It's a ghost baby that's haunting the halls.
That is such a boner killer, let me tell you.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
It never works. Not a good time.
Casper, get out of here. I'm trying to come.
Casper's like, okay.
I'll go make you guys a sandwich. Like, thank you, Casper. I'm trying to fuck Lars von Trier here.
He's like, I don't know. The Cronenberg was into it when you were fucking the glistening holes. This conversation. I don't know what I expected it to be. But it's that.
I think Lars von Trier screams Shia LaBeouf when he comes.
100%.
Definitely does.
He's definitely picturing Shia at all times. He got really turned on by actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. Like, absurdly.
He got into that and then realized that was just a joke.
And then was so sad.
But then he started getting weirdly obsessed with Armie Hammer. He's like, that's the real cannibal in the room.
But in between that time, after he realized that the actual cannibal thing was fake, that's when he wrote Melancholia. Because he was like, the world may as well fucking end.
Yeah. My dreams are dead, so the world should be too.
I feel like that's definitely his vibe.
Okay, only because you pulled Lars von Trier into it, I think that gave Rob Zombie a pass.
I think so too.
I don't think
now
he's
that I
gonna
think
die.
about it, yeah, he's not gonna die.
Because you know what? Like, even though I'm not a fan of his films, like that seems like it would be like ridden hard and put away wet fucking situation for Rob Zombie. Like,
so you're gonna marry Cronenberg?
I think I'm gonna marry Cronenberg.
Wow.
I respect his vision and I support him, and I would be his cheerleader through his life of filmmaking. So I feel like that's something that's important in a partnership. And
that's a lot of time to peer into that mind hole. I'm telling you that much.
But the other option is to like quietly support Rob Zombie doing the Munsters movie. And I can't do that.
But what if you could influence?
It's Rob. Like, I'm coming in late in this game. Like, it's not like it's like the first album of White Zombie is about to come out and we meet and like a meet cute at a like sex dungeon. And
those are the cutest of meet cutes.
The cutest meet cutes. And he's like, I want to slam in the back of my Dracula with you. And I'm like, oh, honey.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. I think that you could really still have an impact. You're a stand-up guy. You're a swell fella.
He's trying to like make his ex now in the Munsters movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or Sherry Moon. Like, they're still together, but they would have to be broken up if I was
right, sure.
with Mr. Robert Zombie.
Mm-hmm. You brought in his government name?
Robert Aloysius Zombie is his Christian name.
His baptismal name.
Actually, it's Zombie.
Like the Cranberries?
Yeah, it's an Irish last name. Traditional Irish last name.
I'm really, really, really resisting the urge to go straight into it. Just go do the whole thing.
Oh, right. Yeah. Which is actually how he comes.
Oh, no.
He goes, oh, la-da-ya. The last part is really unnecessary.
Goes on too long.
Robert and I would have a tryst.
I have regret.
Yep. Rob Tholomew, Aloysius,
the last
Zombie.
Fuck, Marry, Kill was the Muppets. And I really had no fucking forethought going into this. I was just like head empty, just vibes with my Fuck, Marry, Kill, not realizing that it was going to turn into like the most upsetting conversation on this stupid show.
You chose body horror guy, unapologetic sex pervert, and the hot topic guy.
I sure did.
As the choices here.
I'm not a smart person.
There's somebody screaming at me right now for calling Rob Zombie the hot topic guy. And,
well, it's called Deeply Upsetting, bitch.
Yeah, guess what?
Check the title.
So yeah, I'm gonna fuck Rob Zombie.
Okay.
I'm gonna marry Cronenberg. I believe in his vision. I would be a good support system for him in the making of his future films. And Lars von Trier's got to go.
I agree. I think no matter what, Lars von Trier has to die. I think I would probably swap my roles in the other two, but no matter what, like, I'm taking down Lars von Trier, and I feel like there's got to be some good that comes into the world from that. He's not giving off good vibes.
That's the thing, is either he is even darker than people think he is, and he's got some fucked up, at least 10 children locked up in his dungeon.
Yep.
Something along those lines where people are like, fuck, okay, I thought 6 tops. But 10, wow. Or it's the polar opposite, where he's so edgy with filmmaking that he's the most boring fucking person in the entire world.
That's very true. It is one way or the other.
Yeah.
10? I lost $50 in my office betting pool.
Right? I don't think he's boring.
No.
I think it's probably the other way.
Unfortunately, yes. So his death is really a treat for us all.
Right. So you would flip, we're both killing Von Trier, but you're going to marry Rob Zombie.
I think so. I just don't feel like my mind is up to the task of like having an intimate view into Cronenberg's mind at all times. I just don't feel like I'm there. I don't have the fortitude.
The problem is, though, that you legally have to change your middle name to Moon if you marry Rob Zombie. So you'd be like Amy Moon Zombie.
That's sick.
I mean, that's okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. I said that as a negative.
You're selling it. Yeah.
Like that's
that is very cool.
The problem with this car is it goes to 0 to 60 faster than any other car. Oh, okay. I guess I'm going to get it. I don't know why you said it like that.
I think the problem is that with the name Amy Moon Zombie, people would really expect me to be not the person that I am. You know, if it's like Amy Moon Zombie is coming and I show up wearing a fucking Toni Collette t-shirt.
Just be like, hi, everybody.
And cuffed bisexual jeans. People are going to be like, who is this?
Be like, girl, that whole outfit is a mood. And they're like... Amy Moon Zombie. Yep.
That's
speaking
you.
Here.
Hello, friends. That is unfortunately what I'm like in real life. I feel like I forget sometimes that the listeners don't know what I'm like in real life, and it's overly earnest. I'm definitely not pulling off the Moon Zombie name. My kids would be embarrassed of me.
That would be, honestly, that's something out of a movie or a sitcom where there's the brooding, dark artist. Unfortunately, a white guy with dreadlocks, and
definitely
just looks, even if he's very clean and smells good, looks dirty all the time.
Yep.
And then there's his partner, who you would think is of the same lines, and it's just this bubbly, like friendly, happy, just very warm person.
That's me, Amy Moon Zombie. I feel like every time I would enter a room, people would be like, well, this is deeply upsetting. Welcome back to Deeply Upsetting. I'm Amy Bogarde.
I'm Mike the Hobbit.
And we, your hosts on this show, will answer the internet's most upsetting hypothetical quandaries.
Yes.
We've got no expertise, but baby, we're here.
The expertise is what we have in our hearts.
Yep.
Which is apparently very disturbing.
Limited.
Yeah, and limited at best.
The way that this show works is that we need your questions. We will answer them on the show, and you can give them to us in a bunch of different ways. We're on social media. Ever heard of it?
Wow, you're getting mean right off the bat. Like social media, you may not know about it. It's kind of new.
It's pretty cool. It's time for my hipster era, I think. But it's so misguided hipster area where I'm like, have you guys heard about Facebook? It's cool.
We need to be the hipster podcast where we just mention social media pages that nobody uses. Like, have you heard of Friendster?
Yep.
Friendster's coming back in a big way. You can only find us on Friendster.
I wish we were only on Friendster. And you can listen to the music from the show on Napster.
Right.
Download it on LimeWire.
We're doing a live streaming episode on MySpace later this month.
Definitely. Tom's going to be there.
Tom is actually going to be there.
So is Justin Timberlake. Didn't he buy MySpace?
Oh, I think he did, yeah.
Why did he do that?
Because he was in the social network and he's like, I can do this too, except he has no understanding of the environment of social media at all. So he's like, MySpace is free, right? Like, and he's like, not free. It's $18. You can buy MySpace for $18. Like, that sounds like a deal to me.
He was like, Jesse Eisenberg, you want to get in on this? $9? And Jesse was like, no.
No.
Just like that. Walked away. Anywho, if you use these newfangled social medias, we are on Facebook and Twitter at Deeply Upsetting. You can send us an electronic mail, geeksundertheinfluence@gmail.com. Put Deeply Upsetting in the subject line. If you don't know how to do that, call your mom and ask her. I'm sure she'll know.
Yeah, because that's usually how it works, that the parent tells the kid how to use electronic mail.
Electronic mail. She watched You've Got Mail 15 times.
Just
she
put in your
it.
500 hours of free AOL disk.
Exactly.
Set up an email account.
But today, actually, you, my friend, are posing the question.
Yes, I am. This is relating to recent events where I was told I have a charming smile on a social media app.
Which one, though?
That will come into play
as
we go through the rigmarole of this question.
Excuse me.
So the question is that there's so many different ways to get in touch with people nowadays, different types of that social media, as the kids say, apparently. And if you're going to jump into someone's DMs, you got to kind of frame it based on the social app that you're using to message a stranger.
Definitely.
And berate them with
unwanted
affection and attention. Yes. So the question is that if you were to jump into them DMs on different social apps, based on the social app, what would be your pickup line?
Jesus. I have no experience jumping into anyone's DMs for literally anything. I am actually like an old lady when it comes to social media. I don't use it properly, and I've never jumped into anyone's DMs, so this should be pretty fun.
I don't think... I have jumped into, well, not a stranger. I've not jumped in any DMs of anybody that I hadn't previously met. The jumping into DMs of people that I hadn't met before, it's definitely got that like middle school, will you go out with me energy, and not the
yes
like,
or no.
Do you want to see my dick energy?
That's for the best.
It's mostly the, yeah, no, I like that thing too. And then talk for like 40 minutes very casually about just random stuff that we both like, and then being like, so if you wanted to get a drink sometime, then maybe that would be cool. If you wanted to, not a big deal if you don't. You're
writing 5-paragraph essays in the DMs. Right. There's a thesis statement and like supporting paragraphs.
Right. Making sure to indent my paragraphs.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's citations.
I got footnotes. They're like, I didn't even know you could do footnotes in Messenger. I was like, I looked it up. I made sure.
MLA didn't feel right. APA felt cheap. Nobody uses Chicago style.
How did you get this double spaced? Hit Alt, return, and make the extra.
Is this notarized? Yeah, right. The DM is you, them, and a notary public.
When I send a message, there's a message that comes back saying it has been received by the recipient.
Yep. Is there some sort of like a legal dating app? Because this is how that would go.
Yeah, totally.
Some sort of like lawyers only.
So Facebook, that is predominantly where a lot of people jump into DMs, and that's the classic. You're hot. You look boobs. You have boobs. Look at the boobs that you have, and. Yep. Then
I think I've gotten that exact message, actually.
Probably. And then, and please tell me if I'm off base here.
Okay.
At any point. Then the woman says, oh, thank you. That's really sweet, but I'm not interested. To which the response is, you're an ugly bitch and I didn't want to fuck you anyway.
That's 100% true.
Okay. Cool.
That's 100% true.
Making sure that that's the normal, very reasonable.
Totally normal.
Not normal psychotic, response. Not...
Maybe a little bit of like a God complex type maybe situation. Something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a therapist or anything like that. So since that's just so gauche at this point, I mean, I know it's going to work. It's so tired.
There's no challenge to me if I know it's going to work.
Right.
Of just like, let me see them boobs. No, that's going to work. So I would probably come in was something along the lines of, have you heard my podcast?
Ooh.
I think is the lead in.
That's hot.
Nothing's hotter than a podcaster.
That's really true.
I mean,
clearly.
Guitarists have been bitching for the last 10 years about how all their thunder's being stolen by chubby bearded men that have a take on the Dark Knight. That's really
where they're like, where are the bitches? It's like, oh no, they're at Pod Magic Con or something.
They're sitting in the car outside of the club where we're playing, listening on Spotify to a chubby bearded man being like, you know what? Like the new Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was good, but I just don't think that anything comes close to the Dark Knight.
And his friend being like, fuck you.
No, man, Joaquin did it, man.
Joaquin changed my life. That dude's method.
The guitarist just walks out and he does an in-person Facebook dump where he just knocks on the window and pulls his dick out
Yep.
No.
No,
podcast.
Pointing at their ears it's not blasting from their speakers. Nothing cooler, actually. I'm sure you've experienced this, than when you pull up to somebody at a light and you realize that you are fully blasting your podcast.
And it's always something that's the most boring part of the thing that it sounds like a hot take and it's not a hot take. Being like, you know what? Andrew Garfield, not the greatest Peter Parker, but he was a pretty good Spider-Man. Everybody on the car is like, yeah, no, everybody thinks that. I don't know why they said it like that was a hot fucking take. Oh my God.
I mean, I listen to dorkier shit than that, though. I feel like I roll up to the light and it's like, but what was Sondheim's greatest work? We'll never know. There's too many options. And I'm just sitting in my car clearly. The screaming.
Be listening Invisibilia, and it's the thing is about a butterfly is that it turns into a mush when it's in the cocoon and nobody knows how it reforms. It's a scientific marvel.
Or I'm living my white woman stereotype life and I pull up to the light and it's her teeth were removed. Her skin was peeled back.
There fortunately has been a shift in the world as far as believing women and making more room for women to have a voice in the conversation of the zeitgeist and moving up in business. And that's fucking rad. Especially because the amount of true crime podcasts that women listen to suggests that if it wasn't going a little bit better that way, things would take a very dark turn.
Honestly intrigued by that timeline, though. Am I glad that women are starting to get things? Yes. Is it happening quick enough that we shouldn't maybe just inch into the true crime timeline? No.
Just a little murder.
Just a smidge.
A smidge of murder.
I think women deserve a little murder as a treat. They've been through so much. The glass ceiling is still there. There's rape kits sitting in the police departments for the last 20 years. And I mean, we could have a little murder.
If you're going to smash the glass ceiling, why not take one of those shards and maybe murder a little?
Oh, imagine. Murdering with the glass ceiling would just be so chef's kiss.
There's such an artistic and almost ironic murder situation there. I love it.
We deserve. How did we get here?
I think from Facebook DMs.
Yep, from
That's
Facebook
how
DMs.
The murder started.
Well, because clearly your pickup line was good enough that it started this incredible conversation that started a love connection for the ages.
How are you love connecting on Facebook?
On Facebook? I think a good Facebook DM is kind of like a grandma posting a status where they're just searching for stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that my best move is typing into a DM as if I'm searching for stuff. So it says bra to fit my big honkin' boobs. Don't fit in any bras. Vagina too wet, ? Happy birthday, Susan. And that's it. Tell me you wouldn't respond.
Orgasm only from small penises.
Hate receiving oral. Help. Love to give oral.
As much as I was joking about mine, that would so fucking work.
I know.
No, great. Like the bar, as you put it, is in hell.
Yeah, that's my catchphrase.
So you could just put like boobs ? And that would be enough.
That would be
yeah, let me see. Yeah, what's it? And then you'd have 6 weeks.
Yep.
If you never responded again, 6 weeks of just like, yeah, are boobs here yet? What's going on with the boobs?
Then just a dick.
Still waiting
for sure.
then a dick, and then no boobs. You're a tease, and then another couple weeks of just the most hateful things.
stuff, and then after that, please let me see your boobs. It's begging.
And then 5 years later, I'm about to get engaged. How are your boobs doing?
And that's when I respond, and then we fall in love.
Playing the long game, I like it.
That's what I'm here for. I need to sow my oats, but I want to start like sowing them quietly first, putting in my little seedlings.
You got to do some gardening first to prepare for the seeds that you're planting. Yeah,
exactly. In the meantime, that's my strategy. Okay, what about Twitter?
Twitter, I feel like even with the DMs don't have the same limits to the amount of typing that you're doing. You don't want to shift gears too much. You know, people are used to on Twitter it being short and sweet. So the message should also be short and sweet. Not quite as short and sweet as say boobs ?
Right.
I think maybe you can like at things in the DM, like at KY, like at the different sex toy companies that you want to incorporate into the sex.
Yep.
That you're planning with this stranger that has never heard of you before. Maybe a couple hashtags.
Oh yeah, hashtags are so sexy. They're like fucking a turn on.
Yeah, like hashtag sure. Don't look at me when I come. Hashtag cry after.
I'm just gonna put hashtag lovemaking. That's it.
Pull in some old hashtags like Pumps and the Bumps, which is a underappreciated MC Hammer jam.
Well, yeah, that's a good one for sure. Yeah. Hashtag peaches and cream. Get into that.
And then also, just to get the algorithm working in your favor, do like the Snickers hashtag or like you're not you when you're hungry.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dick Vein.
Dick Vein, for sure.
Hashtag Dick Vein really gets the party started. Or you could go like classic pickup line style and be like, my tweets have to be brief, but nothing else does.
Oh. My followers are going down and so do I.
And then it's like, I got canceled. Oh no.
How did that happen? I didn't realize there was this whole thing called a screenshot.
Oh, I meant the reason for the followers going down. Then you have to expose yourself for why you got canceled because you realize that first message is going to lead into some questions.
But also not knowing how to DM and actually just putting that on your own Twitter page.
Yep. That would be amazing.
I find it funny with Twitter, as I know a couple people, and one of which I know in real life, that doesn't realize that the things that they comment on and like on Twitter, it tells their friends what they like and comment on Twitter. So I do have a friend that, like, honestly, if I brought it up, they'd be like, okay, cool. What'd you think of the porn that I was watching? Comments on porn star pages all the time. This is all the time. Likes and like, yeah, that's a great butthole.
Wait, do you remember the best day of all time on Twitter? Were you on Twitter for this? Because it was the greatest day in the world. And it was that time that Ted Cruz liked to porn tweet on 9/11.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And it was like the lamest porn tweet of all time. Like, it wasn't even sexy. But it was so good. It was so good.
I just want to make it clear that my friend I'm talking about is not, in fact, Ted Cruz.
Why are you such close friends with Ted Cruz?
It's he gets beard advice from me. He never takes it. But
no, he actually heard our last episode where we just roasted the ever-living fuck out of Ted Cruz for 30 minutes and was like, I want to change my ways. Will you guys adopt me into your friendship? And now we're all friends.
Speaking of, starting next episode, it's going to be a 3-person panel of answering questions. It's the two of us and Ted Cruz.
Ugh. We're fully lying. I can't even keep this up. This disgusts me. I can't deal with it.
I mean, really living up to the name of deeply upsetting.
Deeply upsetting. Yeah. The idea that we're friends with Ted Cruz.
Oh no. So your Twitter, you use the hashtags, the sexy hashtags, or?
No, I'm doing the sexy pickup line about Twitter jokes.
Twitter jokes. Okay.
Yeah, Twitter joke pickup line. Or there's got to be like an Elon Musk joke in here where it's like, Elon Musk just bought Twitter, so I guess it's time for you and me to make our own AEX 1 through 12, whatever his stupid baby's name is.
Let's make a robot baby.
Have they released the name of the second baby?
You've said it like a Kanye record that's about to drop. Have they released the name of the new baby that's about to drop?
I want to know what the next baby is called. The first one really fucked up my world.
It's called Gina Carano Got Railroaded. I think it's, just Elon going full in with this Twitter kind of thing.
That's too much. Okay, I know that it's like kind of a defunct platform at this point because they took away the porn, but what about Tumblr?
Tumblr? Mm-hmm. Tumblr is just dicks. I mean, like...
Not anymore.
Oh, that's right. You can't do dicks anymore on Tumblr.
That's why nobody uses Tumblr anymore.
Oh, that's such a shame.
It really... Never mind. Fuck Tumblr. Yeah, we're just ignoring
there's
it.
There's dicks literally everywhere else on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But Tumblr's like, no, we're not going to do dicks. We are known for the people with dicks.
Yep.
And we're not going to do dicks anymore.
Twitter really did go through from something that you could scroll in public to something that you cannot scroll in public anymore.
That's the funny thing about clicking on a thing that a friend liked or something, like, because they have an interesting handle, liked so-and-so's tweet, and you're like, oh, what is this? And it's just like a woman squirting, and you're like at the DMV holding your phone out so anybody behind you can watch you just looking at squirting videos. Like, okay.
Also, it's become so prevalent that I feel like half the time that I see something that's like talking about a viral tweet, it turns out that the viral tweet is some sort of incredibly upsetting porn. Like the most recent one was like, I saw a tweet that was like, guys, please stop posting the sand video. I don't want to see it anymore. And I was like, oh no, what's the sand video? I did not seek it out. I promise I didn't seek it out. But then I saw it like 2 tweets later, and then I saw so much of the sand video, which is where a guy basically had, I mean, like a pound of sand in his butthole, and it just poured out for like 3 straight minutes of Twitter time.
Was there at least like where it was pouring out and then stopped, and then there was like a dust fart, and then it
after a long time, yeah.
Okay,
but then it just kept on going.
The dust fart, the idea of a dust fart is very funny to me.
But it wasn't like dust; it was sand. Not kind of. We'll watch it later.
Okay, cool. Looking forward to it.
Sand is so scrapey.
Sand is scrapey.
There was a metric fuck ton of sand in that guy's butt. How?
We're in a post-goatsy world. Like, sand is not the worst thing that we've seen on the internet.
I'm not trying to kink shame, but like if you happen to be the person that did that and you're listening to this, which honestly, there's an opportunity for that.
That Venn diagram does overlap.
It does.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Is your butthole okay? Did you just like really high power douche it out after that? Because like what happened in there? I have so many questions. And the saddest thing is I have had this conversation with someone else in person before today where we were both just like deeply concerned about this person's colon health and etc.
See, that is the kind of energy that we need on Twitter more, is that, yeah, okay, it's weird, not necessarily into it, but the humanity of it all is more important than like demonizing a person. It's like, Sandy Butthole, I don't get it, but like, are you okay?
Right.
Instead of like, oh, so fucked up, what a bit is what, or, whatever shit. It's just, first off, did you have to seek medical attention?
Exactly.
Like, do you have enough gauze?
Yes. We're never kink shaming. We are just doing our due diligence as humans and asking if you're okay after doing that freak shit that you just did.
I love that energy. I feel like that energy needs to be more prevalent.
It's accepting mom energy, and it's really how I like to live my life.
Speaking of accepting mom energy, one of the social media applications that moms definitely jump on a little bit is the Instagrams.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Insta influencers are there, but also the like mom being like, look at this cake I made, look at my garden energy is also there. So for an Instagram drop in DMs, are we doing a picture? Are we?
I feel like, okay, in this Instagram scenario, I'm gonna flip the script and I'm gonna be jumping into the DMs of a girl Instagram, Instagram girl, rather than a male Instagrammer. And I'm going to go with like, hey, girl boss. So then she's immediately worried that it's an MLM situation.
Sure.
And then it's like, just kidding. Those are so annoying. You want to see my titties.
Okay, cool. I like that. It's you get the groan. So literally anything that's not that is going to be more appreciated.
Yep.
I like that.
It brings in the humanity, and then it's like, okay, let's get down to the business. Titties.
Yeah.
I have them. You do too.
Think I'm going to probably troll Megan Fox's Instagram and find a picture of her and Machine Gun Kelly just like licking each other's faces or something.
Drinking each other's blood.
Something. Blood drinking. Good call.
That came out this week that they were like, yeah, we do that, of course. Yeah. Obviously.
So I'll find just a solid, like really nice blood drinking picture of the two of them.
I don't think there's active pictures of it.
I mean, we haven't checked Instagram in about 28 minutes.
You're also really good at Photoshop.
That's true. I can do that. I can absolutely do that. I'll just Photoshop Machine Gun Kelly's face over what's his face from Cats that's lapping up the bowl of water.
Oh, God. Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen's face. But the bowl is going to be blood, and it's going to be Megan Fox holding the bowl. And
this is how you're hitting on Megan Fox?
No. I'm not going to hit on Megan Fox. No, she's in a loving relationship. I don't want to get in the way of that.
A very stable and strong relationship.
Great relationship. Do not want to detract from that.
Clearly.
I want to absolutely handle that with the most respect.
Yep.
I'm going to take that photo as couple goals.
Oh, nice.
And at somebody, like send that message to somebody in their DMs on Instagram, being like, this could be us.
Yep.
But you're worried about blood diseases.
The world is burning. Blood diseases are like the least of your worries.
There's so much worse to worry about.
Come on, drink this blood, girl.
Hashtag blood diseases.
So you're telling them not to worry about it, but then reiterating the fear.
And not suggesting I don't have them or I do have it. It's just blood diseases. Like, I don't know how to take that hashtag.
I think that we should workshop that one.
Think?
Next time you jump into somebody's DMs, just like run it by me first so I can look it over and see.
I don't know. I think the blood disease angle is a pretty solid angle.
I mean, you can let us know, listeners, please.
Okay, cool.
Let us know if that would turn you on.
We're getting a whole new contingency of listeners after this one here.
We haven't talked about the sexiest of social media platforms, though.
Oh.
Ooh, it's LinkedIn, baby.
LinkedIn. For the business fucking.
Yep.
That is, in fact, what inspired this whole thing is I got a you have a charming smile message on LinkedIn.
Fucking filthy.
It's filthy, right? And
raunchy.
The thing that was like jarring about that is it was very nice, and yeah, it wasn't anything too gross or weird or anything.
Yeah.
But it's also LinkedIn. I don't see LinkedIn as the place where you go to like jump into someone's DMs and like.
And yet I have gotten a million horny LinkedIn DMs. I do not appreciate. Not interested.
But also not interested because the DM that I got was kind of basic. I mean, it didn't show that there was a lot of interest in me per se.
It was all about looks.
It was all about looks. Like,
it's really surface.
All of my stuff's on Front Street. What I do for a living, what my interests are. That's all out there. It tells me like I'm a motivated entrepreneur. You know, there's all this stuff you can pull from. And you just go by my smile.
Wow.
You know, I like my smile too. I do. But
you should.
I'm more than a smile.
Yeah, you've got depth.
I do.
You've got a whole career. And she was just like ignoring that. Like, you're what, a piece of meat?
Yeah, I'm just this like business profile here for your fucking whimsy. Okay. All right. I see you.
Ugh, rude.
But yeah, you throw in some business jargon in there, you know.
Hot.
Like, yeah. B2B is like butt to balls.
Wow.
Do that. That's great.
I think I'm just going to keep it really simple, actually.
SaaS is sex as a service.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, sex workers should really be taking advantage of that. They should totally like take over SaaS. That would be amazing. I would love to see
SaaS expert. XAAS.
Yeah.
Why is that not a porn?
That's so good.
Like a fucking like the Glenn Ross of pornography is just like SaaS.
Because who wants to watch the Glenn Ross of pornography?
All the fucking marketing bros on LinkedIn.
That's 100% true.
Like,
no, you're right.
70% of LinkedIn are marketing bros that are like, I have discovered the one thing that you have to do to market your stuff better than anything else in the entire world. There's nothing else that works except this one thing. Me and my 162 followers know that this is the one way that you market stuff. Read my book that's available for free on Audible.
Oh, the worst part about LinkedIn, let me just go on a quick tangent. The worst part about LinkedIn is people's posts where it's like, I was on my way to work, got my Dunkin' Donuts, I was running late, I saw someone standing on the street, he looked sad, I pulled over my car even though I didn't have the time, and I was like, hey, I'm going to work, what's wrong with you? I'm working at my high profile job. And the person was like, I'm sad and my dog died today. And they were like, I'm going to take you to work and have you interview at my company, and that will really like make the difference. And that man was Gandhi. You could do it too. If you just cared one little bit like I do. And it's like 1 zillion likes and people being like, inspirational, incredible, you deserve the world. It's awful.
I found out recently there is a term for that, for those kind of posts. It's where it's marketing bros or just business bros in general. I don't want to single out the marketing side of the industry.
Oh, you don't want to alienate the marketing bros?
I don't want to alienate just the marketing bros.
I'm sure we have so many marketing bro listeners.
It is a tactic to try to like put a personal face on a pro marketing or pro business post or something that has been nicknamed broetry.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's just like, soak down a protein shake from my favorite smoothie shop. Before I took my dog on a walk, I have a purebred, Pomeranian and dressed in, my fucking Louis Vuitton business gear.
I loved Louis Vuitton's spring summer 2021 business gear. So good.
Really underappreciated
season.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I'm just going to cut to the chase, and I'm just going to go into every single Fortune 500 CEO that I possibly can and just put sugar daddy ? In their DMs. Or like, honestly, here's my ultimate. I'm going to put FinDom because that's what I really want. It's just to tell them to give me money all the time.
I mean, and if the stereotypes hold true, you might have some success going that route.
And you can send a picture in your LinkedIn message. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The opportunities are there. Everybody write that one down.
You just one picture of you putting out a cigarette on the forehead of like just the top of the forehead of like a balding white-haired man, and you're off to the races.
There's just like a sliver of side boob. You're good to go.
I do wish that if you were gonna hit up somebody in DMs on LinkedIn, you would submit like a sex resume.
Yes.
Just a resume of like where you've held positions before.
Yeah. In which positions?
And your strengths and weaknesses. What you look to gain from your opportunity there. And and cover letter. Talk about like where you discovered this person that you're jumping into the DMs of.
But most importantly, what you can do for them.
Yeah.
That really goes a long way.
It really is. Yeah.
If anybody has any pickup lines, not that we haven't talked about all of them, if anybody has any really good pickup lines, not that we haven't covered all of them. I mean, we really nailed it.
Well, all the ones you want to use anyway. Yeah, you can use your lame ones we haven't talked about.
If you have some second tier ones, you can put them on our social media.
Some B squad pickup lines, yeah.
Or honestly, feel free to send us some slutty DMs. We would love to see it. Break up this relationship for fun.
For fun.
To see what you can do. Other things that you can do are listen to the other shows on the Geeks Under the Influence network. They're better than this one. Send them some slutty DMs because they won't know why. And that would be really, really fun.
Oh my God, can you please, like, not to us, send it to Beautiful Disasters.
From the Mouths of Madness. And I want those to be themed too, though. Like, I want a horror themed From the Mouths of Madness slutty DM, a B movie themed, a Geek Fathers themed one. I'm sure they would love to be called daddies. Just go for it. Use your creativity and your creepy little hearts. But also review, subscribe, do the whole 9 yards, you know. Buy the merch. There's lots of good merch. There's tons of weird shit on the shop. GUIPodcast.com/store.
Yep.
But next week we'll be back with another minor upset. If you have any suggestions for that, because there are actually some not great things going on in the world, as it turns out.
It's weird. We don't want to cover like the Ukraine.
No, that's, if you've heard this show, that's not really our bag.
Not the vibe we're going for. It's more the stuff we can laugh about.
Yeah, the Snickers Dick vein of it all.
Yeah.
Send us that kind of shit.
That kind of shit, for sure.
And we'll see you next week. So for another episode of Deeply Upsetting, I'm Amy Bogarde.
I'm Mike the Hobbit.
Okay, bye.
GUIPodcast.com.
Casper, get out of here. I'm trying to come. Mike the Hobbit here.
Lowdown Brown.
Inviting you to check out Geek Some of the Influence, a podcast that pairs booze with conversation with good friends.
And a little nerd culture.
We get a lot of colorful conversation out of our episodes, but it is here for everyone. No gatekeeping.
Always level up everything we do.
We'll punch up, never punch down.
Exactly.
So check out Geeks Under the Influence everywhere you get your podcasts and join us or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit. Welcome to GUI Nights.
GUI Nights.
Yeah, I am Lowdown Brown. With me as always,
Mike the Hobbit.
this is the tangential side of GUI.
This is like so many of those other shows that has the after the show bit mixed with a little bit of Baywatch Nights, so it's a little sexier. It's a little bit after hours.
Also while tying it into the previous episode of GUI. So look forward to that too, because this comes out the week after the flagship hour-long episode.
So make sure to check out GUI Nights, and when you're done, you can
Go the fuck home.
In a world with too many reboots and remakes,
Two men will stop at nothing to make it even worse.
join Mike the Hobbit and Tandy as they play by their own rules while pitching new takes on some of your favorite and least favorite films and TV shows. What podcast would dare to bring this upon the world?
This is Smack My Pitch Hit.
Hey guys, Scotty P here with Smash on your left. And we are the Geek Fathers. That's right, bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent.
So welcome to our world.
And as always, join us
Or cry.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm F.U. Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
F.U. Hunter.
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May the schlock be with you.